Huge updates to Cooldown Manager coming soon. Damn, it's about time. I feel like the stuff they've had has just been bad. Cooldown Manager has to be good, and they released a bad one. Huge updates to Cooldown Manager coming soon. Sound and then external and debuff tracking. Oh, that's sick. That's great. That's really cool. Since the release of the Cooldown Manager feature, we've been listening to your feedback and are excited to share several planned improvements. These updates will enhance functionality, customization, and ease of use. We aim to consistently iterate and improve on the Cooldown Manager, and these enhancements will be included in... Yeah, dude, I think a really, really well-made version of the Cooldown Manager is, like, way, way up there on things that need to exist in this game. I don't think people would immediately swap off their, like, handmade UIs for it, but I know when they would. Whenever alpha and beta comes out and stuff doesn't work, and they end up making a cooldown manager version of like their LVY or whatever, if it's actually functional, you can track certain debuffs, you can add sounds like you would a weak aura for certain things. You can do all of that, right, within Blizzard's UI, and it's like easy to move around and stuff. That's pretty far from that right now, for sure. So I'm not saying that's what it is right now, but let's say that's what they get to. That would be, I think, I think a lot of people would swap to it. Okay, please note the features shared here are iterated on and can change. One of the strongest pieces of feedback was that players want to customize their bars and frames to only show specific abilities or reorder them based on their preference. Yep, 100% has to exist. We're excited to share that we're adding a new advanced cooldown settings for players who want to fine-tune and control what their cooldown manager displays. In addition, we are adding a lot more class and spec abilities that players can opt into tracking. Here are some of the new settings you can modify to update your cooldown manager with. Pick and choose which spells and abilities you want to display or hide. Change the order of the abilities on the cooldown manager frames. Okay, that's 100% necessary. It needed to exist when it came out because it's just so insanely worse than everything else that exists. But yeah, change the order of the abilities display. Toggle whether mouse over tooltips or ability timers appear. Set whether abilities appear in essentials or utilities frame. Oh, I see. It's like the top or bottom. Totally makes sense. And whether buffs appear as icons or bars. Oh, that's interesting. Show unlearned abilities if the player hasn't selected the talent yet and search for specific abilities. Yeah, dude. Sick. That's sick. These are crazy good. You know? I still think it has a bit of a way to go to replace how good some weak auras can be for this. Like, for example, let's say this is a shaman, right? And you have Frost Shock. Like, this is going to show you Frost Shock, but the weak aura version of Frost Shock will have... It'll show the Frost Shock, like, when it's off cooldown. It'll show you how many stacks you have left of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot... It's so in-depth, but this is still just such a massive improvement of what it was before. In fact, it's kind of insane that whoever was making this, if they used one of those UI packages or ever set one up themselves, it's kind of insane they even ever decided to launch this without the ability to customize it because, I mean, unsurprisingly, their responses have been extremely negative, right? What is it? Wait, are they actually making it good? It was so mid when it came out. Yeah, really bad when it came out. I mean, it's not surprising, though. Like, you're basically saying, hey, this came out in 11.5. If you were to tell me there, like, Max, can you peer into your crystal ball and tell me if 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years from now, this thing they released will be better? I would say, yeah, because, like, basically everything they release is better 2 years. They, like, kind of, that always happens. The criticism is usually when things come out, they're bad, right? They almost certainly will get better over time. It's just kind of confusing why they chose to even launch it in the first place without all this stuff. Max, highly recommend reading the comments on the void storage removal post on Wowhead if you want brain damage. I'm actually interested in what the Wowhead response is to this post, because the only thing I could possibly think of, the kind of responses you'd see are, this is great news, or typical Wowhead comment section doomer posts like, which is kind of what I was already saying, which is crazy that it didn't have this already. Let's see if there's anything different than those two. Huge W. Nice. Things that should have been in it to start. I think we can just stop right there. I feel like I kind of nailed it. Those are the only two responses that make sense. Well, can't wait until this keeps getting better. We'll shareable profiles to CD manager. That thing was and is an absolute joke. There we go. Still bad. Fuck you.